All right. So I actually haven't made a face content video in a while, and so this is not a specific video title. I don't know what I'm going to title it. Probably just something like "What's it like to be back in my mother's basement?" Well, not that I've been here before. This is my first time. This is my first time doing this. All right. I moved out for college, and I worked until now. So like let's just get that out the way. I can afford to not live here easily, but I would have to be alone to do so. And I was going a little crazy, not having anything to do with nobody. When I had something to do, it was fine. I preferred it. But now I need this weird balance. And I'm starting to realize that I have not balanced it. We've done too much life and not enough work now. Isn't that weird how we go from that? I guess my natural default is work, but my work has changed. That's all. Anyway, let's get. I'm just going to ramble about what is on my mind. I don't know what I'm going to say. If they're good enough, maybe I should. I've been thinking about maybe I should make some clips of things. Short videos within videos. And just slice them up. Put the whole thing out on YouTube. Put the others. But this is all the bullshit that I'm neglecting to do. It's actually important if you want to do this. I mean, I love fucking rambling. That's what I put out there before. I love it. It's fun. I have something to talk about to somebody that supposedly is there, and then now I'm not alone. So, but I do like to actually be able to go upstairs, jump in the hot tub, which is what I just did. That was great, dude. This is the best basement. This is the best version of all the mother's basements that exists. At least my versions of my mother's basements that have ever existed. Although I've never been in here yet, it's not a bad gig. I'll tell you what, it's not a bad gig. She charges a pretty cheap price for the rent. I'm chilling. It's a good arrangement. And then, once I get real rent, anyway, let's just talk about this. What's been going on? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And why are you doing what you're doing? I'm just trying to live, bro. Leave me alone. So I'm trying to turn my house into like, I want to eventually pivot it into a rental and then pivot that rental into another house. And I can either just live in that, and I pretty much will. Like, I'm basically going to keep it, but I'm just going to take my stuff out of it. I'm going to live here, really, but I'm still going to be my house. Like, I don't, it's weird because I'm going to still take care of the tenant who's there. I'll still go back and mow the lawn. I still putting in new floors. Like, and, I'm not living here yet. This is probably going to take many, many months to do, So I'm like, still, it's just weird. I'm in between two homes, Tale of two cities. One fucking sucks, and one is here, and it also kind of sucks. No, I'm just kidding. I've been enjoying it. Dude, I've walked like every day since I arrived until like the last 3 days because I'm starting to exhaust myself. Like I'm working too much, maybe, but I'm partying too much and I'm working too much, and I don't sleep enough. And that's the problem. Like I should be sleeping more. Anyway, that's a side issue, I suppose. Um. Anyway, so what am I home? What did I come home for? I was trying to get the home fixed up and do some more things to it. Goal is to put in new floors. I'm currently destroying the backyard to rebirth it with a Flower Patch Kids grove. My plan is to rip up all the grass and plant clover because that will cheapen long-term mowing requirements, which I hate. That's one thing I hated about homeownership. Homeownership is balls. I want to fucking be able to stay in the house. I don't have to go even out to the perimeter of the house and fucking gather resources. No, I don't. I don't want to do that either. Dude, I'm such a hermit. It's so bad, guys. It's so bad. But that's like I'd rather rip the entire lawn to smithereens and plant clover than get out there and mow 2 more times a month. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. But anyway, no, I'm just joking. Anyway, at least I got a creative solution. That's what I would say. Oh yeah, there's a camera there. Look at that. Sometimes. Anyway, what else? So yeah, I mean that's just I'm gonna have to go back to that and back to that and back to that. And you know what? Honestly, it's only about $50 of gas. It used to be like 40, 30, 35 maybe. Now it's like 50 at least to drive all those miles, but it only takes me a day either way, and not even. It's not even a fucking full shift to work, bro. That's nothing. So going back and forth is not so bad so that I can see people now and then. Because I don't want to see anybody there. It's embarrassing. Oh, the shame of it. Anyway. But no, I don't want to be there. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know you guys. Sorry, I was impossible, and I'm not going back. So I have family there. I have family here. Nothing over there. So I'm going to be packing my things before too long. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna try and spend basically as little time there. I will meet my obligations to stay there and then I will leave there as soon as that's done. This is like what the very famous financial trick in the military. You buy a house and live in it for a year. Duplex, triplex, multifamily home. You live in one unit for 12 months. You buy another house. Like it's the game. It is the game you play. Like how do you think I'm winning? Because I'm playing. I'm playing it all the time. It's not fraud. It's just how you fucking play the game. You live and occupy the house for 12 months. I've passed that mark, not too long ago. Boom, boom, boom. And then when I buy another home, 12 months, duplex, boop, boop. You can keep it going. And if you ain't doing something, you ain't getting nothing, right? The phrase could be, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But that's, that's like the funny army, dishonest way of, how can we win this fucking foot march? This guy's small. Take his ruck from him. It's too heavy. Take his ruck from him. Make him carry nothing. Like, whatever. Like, there's way, as an organization, how do you get ahead as an organization? Those were different challenges. This is what I'm talking. But if you're in the financial market, you can, just make the best choices you can. And how you choose to house hack is probably one of the most important things. Dude, it's so easy to be broke today. You know how hard it was to fucking get here today without like becoming, evil? It's fucking sucked. It took way longer than it fucking ought to. But, it is what it is, right? You fuck it, dude, Enough said. I feel like if you're smart, it feels like you should be able to get there faster. Boom. And you could, but it does take a little more risk. It does take a little more risk, especially do it honestly. And you should be doing it honestly. Do it honestly. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, eventually we're going to be here more. And I'll just have to come back and forth, and I'll take these 2 weeks on, 3 weeks off, whatever stretches I end up doing. But whatever. It's still completely fine. But what I really need to do is, no matter whether I'm here or whether I'm there, I can't just be in either full-time work or full-time play mode. You know what I mean? And right now, just because I just kind of started doing this, I'm definitely defaulting to full-time play and not full-time work, which is, to me, work is doing this part where I look at this and I talk to this, and then I think about what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it out there and actually try to make it make sense to somebody. I don't have to, but the other thing that I did, just to clarify, if you haven't seen this, if you're like first time watching it, because I just like gave the link. This was started as a disclaimer. Like if I gave you the link to this and you're like, oh, what's he talk about? Like I would talk about you, maybe, but I'm going to be respectful about it. I'll also make that clear. I'm always respectful about like who I'm talking about. But if I had a conversation like, oh, I was talking to some buddy and this is what came up, like I want to talk about some of that. Like let's say for example, I was talking to my cousin who I haven't seen in many years. He's also tried to do the YouTube thing for a while and it didn't work out. And I said that it's hard. That it's hard to do it. People have to normally do it for years before it ever works out. Just dealing with that reality. It's not like all fucking sunshine and rainbows or whatever. So if I say something in relation to you, do not be offended by it or just don't watch, because I'm just going to I can't not help but like fucking I analyze things, and like I'm not going to be so respectful that if you hear this disclaimer and then go watch everything and be like, oh my God, he hates us or he thinks this or he thinks that. That's on you. I am talking to nobody. I'm talking to the God in the universe here. I'm not. My battle is not with you. So please try and have some humility if you're going to watch these videos, because I'm going to analyze it, and I think I'm going to do a good job, and maybe that will result in your offense. I'm absolving myself of sin. You hear me? Because I have no idea what else I will be pulled to say sometimes. This is not scripted, and I will aim to not need a script, right? I will just say what's on my mind in case I die. You know what I mean? In case I pass away. I would want you to know anything that I thought about anything in the world or anything I would want to make. I feel just compelled to do that. I don't even know why, but I just feel like compelled to just say anything at all. Because I just didn't for so many years, right? It's like a weird pull. Like no one could have a pull like that, really. Maybe someone could. But like it'd be hard to explain. Like why is it that you like feel that if you don't say something like somehow your life will just fall to ruin, And I just don't want to go back to work to give it some sort of meaningless meaning. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that I fear more than anything, is just going back for the sheer sake of keeping my sanity. I'll return to some soulless job to just get more money to do nothing with. You know, I don't do anything at all. Like that's why my number of what I can do to stop working was so low. Is 'cause I don't do anything. And that's been the truth, right? Like I don't. What's that fucking Joey Diaz fucking? You don't play checkers. You don't like sports. You know, whatever. You got to do something for him to be in, right? And I was out, all the way out on everything social ever, and it's like hard for me to even still like do it. But when in this small situation, I feel that I could say some things that might be interesting to hear. And if they're not cool, again, then why the fuck are you here? Double question. Is it so fascinating what I might say that you like have to hear it? If so, then maybe this show is for you. But I don't think it is. That's what I'm saying. This show is not for my family. Please don't watch it. Sometimes if you just see my face, bro, and it's like, yo, I'm about to talk about my family today, then maybe just don't watch that one. You know, if you want to watch like the finance ones and see, you know, what maybe you really could be doing better, I think what I got to say is going to help you because it's completely legal and by the book and smart and it gets you there and you can achieve it because most people would want to be able to do this, but they're going to have like really good, you know, friends maybe, and it won't drive them as crazy to just like, what the fuck do I do for the next 16 hours? Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing here this weekend. I don't know how long this video is going to be. We're at 11 minutes of just what's going on. How are you? Hi. You know, I normally, you know, if you met me like, you know, 11 minutes, 54 seconds ago, maybe I would have just said, I'm fine. But, you know, oh, my brother sent me a message. I would love to listen to that, but let me just keep this off my chest, right? You know, I'm so pulled to talk to my brother. That's what I've been doing since I've been home. I'm here for family time. I try to do the work on the house, and I was, you know, mostly getting distracted by playing video games, which is all of what I've been doing. And it's really like, that's what I mean is I need to find a way to balance it all out, you know? But what I've been also doing is like last night, I went upstairs and had a conversation with my mom and her sister Maureen and my stepfather Billy, you know, and we talked for 4 hours straight, you know? That's new, you know, and they're amazing, right? We're talking so much about how much is being lost in the modern day because kids don't listen to their parents and seniors. And I think that you need to hear this part. If you're family, you could even hear this part because this was a great point that everybody brought up. Mostly the older generation. They feel that their experiences are not being properly passed to the next generation, and that's creating, in my opinion, a bunch of fucking morons, a bunch of misfits who don't know how to live. You know, there's wisdom in the experience of those who came before you, but the ones who are coming after at this time have access to all the information and even chat robots who can tell them information and disinformation, and they're going to believe it way more than they're going to believe you. And that's like kind of scary because so many people would probably trust Google over their mom. Well, my father said that, you know, in order to fix the tire, I got to do this. But ChatGPT says, you know, I'm supposed to do this first. Oh, I'm going to listen to ChatGPT. And in a way, I kind of like, oh my God, that's probably no duh. Like, you know, if I'm going to take mechanical advice, I'm probably, unless it's a certified mechanic, I probably wouldn't listen to it either. But you would listen to ChatGPT? I think some people would. You know, this is my point. The world is fucking changing. And it's really weird. And I am a product of that change in some small way, right? I definitely am not the end result here, I think. But I could be, right? This could be the end result of what happens if a person can find all the information he wants to find out and never need to go outside to get it. And he also maybe it makes him intelligent, possibly, and he figures out how to analyze the world. And he's like, oh, the world sucks. The safest thing to do is to stay alone. And that's the outcome. But this is bad for humanity. But anyway, it's interesting. But do the humans that program these things now care if this is the outcome? I don't know. There's a whole lot we could talk about, guys. And I want to talk about all of it, genuinely. But anyway, first we're talking about, like, I don't know. I guess sociability would be, you know, I guess what the core of the message last night is, like, people are less sociable now. You know, we're more likely to talk into the void and never hear a response and be happier, or talking to the true void, AI, where your hopes and dreams go to die, and the government knows what you're thinking, um, and that puts you on lists or some shit. Like surveillance is crazy. No matter what you're doing in your life, there's something to be afraid of, and it's like really fucking up everybody. Like the stress that we all have, like people are fucked up in their heads now. And I think that it's no coincidence that some of these things are drivers, not fully responsible, but drivers, especially when people just don't know how to break the cycles and loops. What could happen to them? What could they subject themselves to? Again, I just don't think that this is more likely, because it takes a very special soul, I think, to like be able to be sociable, but fucking hide from it for like this many years straight. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with them? I mean, again, maybe I'm not sociable. I think that's quite possible too. I've definitely said that. I think there's definitely elements of me that are insociable. But anyway, I just don't know what to do about them, other than kind of exposure therapy them. So, if that makes sense. Oh, this one's going great. Love this video. Anyway. So, what else are we doing? I'm cheating on my diet. Say that. I'm trying to get healthier. Like when I first got here, 3 first days, I was like 5, 6, 7 mile walks in a row. Like I miss these metro parks. They're so great. And then that was only like 3 days. And then I started staying up until like 4 a.m. playing this game. Because it's the best game ever. Clair Expedition 33, if you haven't played it. Fucking amazing game. I want to talk about it. I need to make a video that's specifically about all of my thoughts about the game now that I've like finished it. Dude, like for anybody who's not a gamer, like again, I mean, here, let's try and fucking shed some light on why do you do it? What's fun about it? Or this genre, I guess you would probably call it a Japanese role-playing game. But except that it's French, and it's the best one ever. But they're games where you go through Dante's like journey, like you go through fucking hell, purgatory, and paradise. You know what I mean? Well, this game's not quite that arc, but you really get to experience a very long game that you participate in. It's fun. You get to uncover the secret of the universe that's created by normally the Japanese role-playing game company, but in this case, it was a French role-playing game company. Fromage. I don't know, whatever it is. Almost sounds like that. But anyway, so I can't even explain it. I don't want to, because I couldn't explain it because it would ruin it. It's impossible. Like it's art. It's going to take more than just one listen. You know what I mean? It's like a 50-hour game if you give it the whole full light of day. But it's a 50-hour game if you're just a gamer and you want to have fun, because it's also one of the most fun, mechanically interesting, systematically intricate games that you can play. It's got an amazing parry system. Like the gold standard of fun ways to make a game is you can withhold all damage if through a proper rhythmic understanding of the attacks. Just feels good to play mechanically. There's plenty of strategy. Like it's a game that's going to help. Like this, it's always been good for me. Anybody who says video games are bad for you, like go play one. I genuinely think if you were to play this game, you would have a different appreciation for life. Genuinely. Like if you don't believe that, and you've never watched a piece of media or interacted with a piece of media in some way that you wanted to watch it 17 times and feel that pull, let's do a song 14 times and feel that pull towards something that is harder that feels better than most of what you're feeling, right? That joy, that something amazing is happening in your life. That you can experience this whole thing. Just be grateful for life, literally. I can feel that way when I play some of these games and read certain books and watch certain films. It's one of my biggest passions, and I want to lean into it, because apparently it can be profitable, or at least I've earned it. We'll say that too. I have been working. So what's another thing we're doing? Okay, this is kind of one of the things that was on my mind right before I hit record. Is I'm going to help one of my uncles with some work next week. And this is something I just want to talk about. And I don't want you to be offended by what I'm going to say. Don't watch it if you think you might be. Like if you want to know how I feel about the fact that I will help you, because it might not be good to you, it might be bad to you, and whatever, right? Just be honest. I have to do work. How does a person feel about working? Well, ask yourself that question. and then either watch or don't watch the video, I suppose, right? But anyway, it's going to lean a little negative. I'm just going to say that, right? But I'm just going to analyze it on its surface, because I'm pulled in two ways. Because again, it's a family member and I love them, right? This is why business and family, it's never recommended, because this is the result. And I just want to put that out there. This is my business, to talk about my business, which might be related to your business, but I'm also going to talk about it from my perspective. And how more transparent can I be before you hear anything, right? Anyway, so just to give more clarity to all the strangers that is now the audience that is here to actually observe this, and only the audience who's intended to, actually observe this is here now. Great. But no, I mean, my experience in life is that I worked extremely hard to do as little as humanly possible. And once that balance hit with a Monte Carlo simulation rate of 90%, I called it good. Okay? And I intend to live like a bum in perpetuity. And if I get more money, then I will use it to make perpetuity more fun than it already baseline is for me, which is great. My baseline perpetuity fun is fucking awesome. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to teach you to be happy. This is something that's been coming up a lot. Like, it seems like you're genuinely happy. Is it because you have money and you don't have to do anything for work? And if the answer is yes, that sucks to say, right? It sucks to say that I have more money and I don't have to go to work anymore. Like, but it does make me happy because I love the things that I love, and I want to talk about them and interact with them and get to know people who also love them the way that I love them, and have fun with those people. And if you can't beat us, join us. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'll become one of the us who gets to do this, right? This is fun. In fact, I don't care if I'm not invited. Like, I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean? That's also a weird thing to think. Like, I'm just going to do it because I cannot be stopped, because all I need is Starlink, and I'm connected. Sorry. Why does it have to be that service? Why does it have to be Elon? I don't know. But I was in my home a month ago and I had needed internet. So I bought this because I knew I was going to be here for a month and I was going to need internet, and I was going to be back for a month and I need internet, and boop, de boop, de boop. I was like, I need the answer to this problem. How do I solve it? Starlink is the answer, unfortunately. So anyway, but still, the barrier of entry, my entire business can run off of fucking internet, and all this computer equipment, which I basically owned anyway. Yes, I upgraded because I hadn't done it in 4 years, but it's not like I can afford this every 2 weeks to also my family, who's like, ooh, when we go to dinner, he's going to pay. No, like that's just not how this plan worked. My plan is for this one admission ticket. You understand that? And it's got to be said, because why not? Like, if you were going to ask, now I'm literally talking to you, you better fucking not be here if you don't want to be. I'm serious. But this is a one-man show. Like, that's how the fucking math checks out. That's how it checks out to the fucking potential. Ooh, maybe he's cute. The fucking math will check out before I sign up for anything. Like, that's not the most appealing thing to say, right? But that's who the hell I am. Sorry. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the logical brain will not succumb to anything but, good fucking sound decision making. So, anyway, we're really having fun tonight. Anyway, why am I working with him, though? Because what we talked about earlier, that we are not passing on, like, properly. And people are also, like, it's not a one-way street. It's like, we don't know how to pass it on. Our parents don't know how to pass on the secrets to life properly. Like, how the hell do you teach how to be a good person and live right and enjoy your life and get a good job and pick a good spouse and get a good, to do all the things right so that you can live in nirvana 24/7? Nobody's really teaching that, because nobody really knows that. Mostly, I think a few of us have cracked it. And I also don't know how to instill this nirvana on you, because you can be happy in a fucking, shitty apartment. You could be happy in an insane asylum, I think. Like, if you really fucking truly understood it. But you'd be in that asylum, though. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can do it from the comfort of your home. That's all I'm saying. But I think genuinely, no matter the size of your home, you can find that same happiness, right? Especially if you live in the United States, you can be happy here. Fucking, you better be. Like, fucking figure it out, because this is the best place to ever live. I swear to God. Anybody who says otherwise is stupid. Like, but something is holding you back, and I think a lot of it's in your fucking right pocket or your left pocket, depending on how you do that. But like, it's your fucking phone, right? Like, it's making you sick and ugly and stupid. Or at least it's going to make you think some of those things. But and it's really bad for your health, and so is your job probably. There's a lot of things that are just so easy to get bad with. It's so easy to fuck up your sleep, your body, your health, your money. Everything is really easy to get fucked right now, especially for us younger ones. It's hard. It's just it can be hard, and I have no intention of making it hard on myself again. I guess that's part of this. Like, and again, some people might think that this is like, you're a bum. Yep. I don't know. Like, sure. I don't know. Who fucking cares is my point. If admission price 1 doesn't care, then that's the only person who really cares. If everybody else is just pissed at me forever, I wouldn't care. I don't know. It would be awkward. Don't talk to me at Sam's Club if you hate my guts. I don't know. I'm just fucking trying to buy cheap fucking food, man. But still eat healthy. Like, leave me alone. But otherwise, hopefully there's no big deal here. But anyway, moving on. So what did I think though when I like finally was in person? And they're not like immediately blood related. Mama, brother, sister, cousin. Well, maybe cousin. The only ones I would expect to understand it would be cousins. But when the aunties and uncles are like, "So what are you gonna do?" And I'm like, I just decided to just tell them I'm going to make YouTube videos. Like, I mean, basically that is what I'm going to do. Well, like, I'm going to make YouTube videos, so I just want to share my ideas, and stories and whatever. And it's like, well, they can't say it doesn't take a lot of time potentially. So it's like, what are you going to do with the rest of your time? Like, if I said like, oh, well, I'm going to, play games and read books, they'd be like, oh, what are you going to do with the rest of your time? Like, nobody could fathom that you could do this for more than, an hour. At their age. It just seems like that. I don't know. I'm just going to sit on the porch for 6 hours. Oh, makes sense. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we're different, but I think that it's better to be like them. That's kind of what I actually think. It would be better to be low stimulation. I'm definitely high stimulation. I feel like I thrive on it, but like I need high stimulation, like all the time. But it most of the time it needs to be like self-absorbed stimulation. Like I'm focusing on the thing, and I'm not focusing on someone, because that can be exhausting. So let me explain exhaustion. People exhaustion, social exhaustion, from a guy who is probably the biggest introvert on planet Earth. Dude, talk me, brother. Who's got better numbers? Come on. Who spent less time with people? I know a couple people have. It's sad, man. It's hard. But like, anyway, like, I'm super introverted, right? Completely introverted. But like, I when I do interact, I give it a lot of juice. I give it all my juice, and it's fun, right? I can have fun with it for like the bar graph of my time of over fun. It's like, and it's like not a long window. Most people are like, they're fucking alone and they're like, bored. Ooh, people. Ooh, like piece of candy, like little squirrels. They love people. They just want to go chat them up, talk about the weather, whatever. I don't know. But like for me, it's like really hard to do that first part. I'm like, oh wait, they're cool. They're cool. They're cool. They're cool. They're cool. Holy fuck, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, that's my social battery at play. And it's just it's a really weird one. But if I'm alone, I feel like I can kind of get back to where I want to be at, most of the time. You know what I mean? And that's weird. Like, most people I don't feel that much. I don't know. It's pretty bad in terms of the isolation effect. Like, I really want to recede very deeply, but I can't really do it when I'm here. But I also there's a part of me that enjoys it in small bursts, right? Especially when it's, like my mom. Like, shoot, I love my mom. Why not say that? That's a nice thing to say. And I'm able to see her when I'm here. And that's pretty nice. But anyway, what do I want to do with the rest of my time, though? Like, I want it for whatever I want it for. And it's probably not to do a remedial task because you're still working somehow. And you don't know how to hire somebody off of Indeed. I mean, but again, I can sometimes maybe come off as rude. I mean, I really don't try to do that. Like, but my point is, like, there's somebody else out there. There's plenty of hands. Just because my hands are free, my hands are expensive. They should be expensive. So to ask for them, I will probably give them away, and I'm going to because I want to spend time with you. You know, like I want to force myself even to spend time with you, because I love you. But I also like am very pulled towards the things I'm pulled towards, even if they're strange. You know, even if they're just me talking in this room. You know, like no offense, I might rather fucking think about talking in this room and failing to do it than actually being out somewhere doing something that maybe I'm just not as interested in, even if I'm interested in you. But like anyway, so it's hard to explain. But I don't want to be rude to you. Inherently, I would never want to be rude to you, because that's just not who I am. But if I'm initially like why would I do this job? Like I'd rather watch the boys, or whatever, right? It's just rude to say it, but basically, I suppose it's more or less true. But if it's to do work, if you wanted to go get a meal or something, like I feel like that would be different. I don't necessarily want to go and do a job. I might want to spend time with you, but I don't necessarily want to do a job just because a job you need help with needs done. There's maybe somebody better for that particular thing. Although once or twice, potentially, I would say yes, because I'm a good person, and I respect my elders and shit, right? But other than that, I'm me. I'm just completely and totally me. And I play with, fucking these things in between when I'm fucking, dude, I have pretty good teeth, I think. I got lucky. I've never had braces or anything. I'm just God's special someone, bro. I'm fucking God's favorite snowflake, bro. And that's for real. In Jesus' name. Anyway, sorry. Holy God. I'm sorry. I'm all nervous and shy. He knows what's going on. But anyway. I must recede back into my normal persona. This is a crazy video, man. This one's fun to make. And it's just like, this is one that's like almost too real. That's why I've had all these disclaimers in here, bro. Like, this is how it feels to share something that maybe shouldn't be shared. It's really just weird. It feels uncomfortable. But I don't know. Like, it also feel like I need to do it because, just for example, what else have we done? We came here for like there's like 7. Well, there's really only 4 major events that will happen, but it's way more than I've done. This would be like 3 years of events for me, and it's kind of fun, and it feels kind of like living a real life, but it's just unusual for me, and I'm still adapting to how it feels. But I came here for Mother's Day. I haven't done that in a long time. That was pretty nice. Just a simple dinner with your mom. Great. And the ability to see her pretty regularly. Also great. And cherish that if you have that still. There was a funeral for one of my uncles, and all of his family, and I got to see them, and that's kind of brought up some of these, disclaimers, but also because I've given the link, because, I just I don't know how to lie to people in public or like in any setting. Like if you ask me a blunt question, I'm probably going to be a blunt answer. I just wouldn't know what else to do. So what are you doing? Like, I'm going to make YouTube videos. Like, yep, going to make YouTube videos. Yep. I know. Yep. Like, there's no money in that unless you get like 2 million followers. Like, yeah, well, probably it only take several thousand if you're me and you have my financial plan. In fact, it could take 0 with my financial plan. And it's like, oh, they basically, I'm everything short of saying fuck you, right? When they dissent on your plan, right? Because that's what happened, right? In a little bit, some of them are just like, oh shit, good for you, But you never know deep down how someone's feeling. Some people are a little bit more deep down, way up top. We call that shallow. And it's like, did he just say that about someone in his family? Maybe. I don't know, man. Like, this is where it gets tricky, right? This is where it gets tricky, If you're my family member and I have an opinion about you, it's just like, dude, why should you get to know that? Just fucking get off the video. This better not be on Fox News. You know what I mean? But shouldn't be. Because nobody should find this, bro. This is a nugget. This one's deep down in the deep down, right at the shallowest end. But you know, because right at the respectful end of the pool, right? But anyway, so when the idea is like, I'm going to do him a favor by offering him employment, is the opposite of that. Sometimes it's like, hey, I actually don't need that at all. Actually, you need to pay me 4 times more for it to be viable. Like whatever, right? Like no matter how you genuinely, the real response of like what it means to you from like a monetary standpoint, and less about monetary and more about, I don't get to see you and I'd love to see you because you're a great guy. You know, genuinely, that's what it is. But like, there's the battling of those two instincts, right? People do feel this type of thing. You know, the battling of you know, your love for someone versus your either care for them. Like there's a whole lot of competing horses, right? You can love someone but care for them, and those are competing horses. And it sounds like they shouldn't be, but you have to help them from stopping a bad behavior, right? Or like your love for someone and your hatred for something they do, right? I hate that they criticize like that. I hate that they make people feel small like that. I hate that they they can't make it, they can't understand the context clues of the situation. I hate that, you know, whatever it is. But I ultimately love the person because, you know, they're in my life. You know, they were put there by God. So they must be meant for us in some way. It's interesting to see how everybody handles stuff like that too. I've always been like, if alone is the only way, that's the best way possible. Like I really didn't care if people like really felt I was strange, because I really just feel like I'm pretty normal and just chose to be alone. Like it's weird, like I don't know, but it just seemed like the better option. But at the same time, like I do still care if I'm perceived as extremely crazy, like I feel, which I think I am. Right, I don't know how else to possibly put it, but I feel the way I feel, and if it's not like everybody else, dude, it sucks to be y'all, right? I don't know. It's like, in a way, that's kind of how I feel. Like if you aren't able to spend inordinate amount of times alone and to focus on your like most favorite things, even if you're at work, you're able to like focus on it and get it done and feel pretty good about it for the most part. Before you started dabbling with any sort of drug, anyway, that definitely didn't help the situation. but but yeah, I mean, like for many years, I was just fully locked in on, you know, being getting that money, getting that dollar bill, y'all. Like, but once I realized I'm basically at work optional, like, holy fuck, let me just try some shit. And you know, I'm not saying I did smart things then. I really didn't. Um, but it just started making so much sense to like try to have some fun when I was off work. Like before, it was just kind of like the only way I know how to reliably have fun is to play a game. You know, like just it fucking works. It's simple. Do a challenge run on Elden Ring. Do a challenge run on Bloodborne. It would like you could do whatever you wanted. Just play Persona 5. You'll have fucking like 3 months of when you're not working to beat that 3 to 6 months. You know, fucking years went by. You know, years went by. First time I ever played a JRPG, the one that we're talking about, was Persona 5. I played it in college, and I just realized like a semester disappeared playing that game. And I was like, oh fuck, like it became easy to just kind of check the boxes. Of course, you're still never seeing anyone, but you're checking all the boxes. Boom, 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 boom. You play games. Boom, boom, boom. You play games. Boom, boom, boom. And then like, you know, whatever you've seen this fucking a million times, like gym. Wake up, work out, go to the, fucking do your thing, get your money, do your hobby, go to sleep. You know, like happiness is that cycle, basically. I mean, basically that's what it is. But what happened to me was just, I didn't have enough things to focus on once it was all done. Like my hobbies are great. I mean, I love games and I love walks and bike rides or whatever the fuck, right? I love it. And I'm happy to spend, 8 hours on this part. I do want to start to get some more. I don't know how, I'm going to be part-time at best, I might make a video like, maybe like 2 times a week or something. Right. But like, I will make them and I'm going to be thinking about how to make them better and how to even maybe clip them and edit them and stuff. Like this is the fucking shit part I don't really want to do for real, but it's like so fucking necessary that it's really starting to show his face. I wish it didn't have to go that way. But I feel like maybe it just does. Again, unless I'm just completely uninteresting, which is also quite possible. So whatever. But anyway, like I just got to find the right balance for me. And the more people, of my time I lend to these, like, other people, the less I'm actually getting to do that. So that's just kind of an idea that is in my head when that offer is made. So now maybe you can understand why you've got to find somebody quickly, because I'll help you for a little bit, because we still have plenty to talk about, and I want that knowledge from you. Trust me, I do. I don't care about the money part, really. Pay me, I guess, but I guess that's fair, because we're not going to be able to just socialize with you, and we're going to be mostly doing the work. But anyway, it's just like, it just doesn't even matter, Like, I get it. Maybe you think you need to help me. You don't. But if we're going to do a job, like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Sure, I'm going to accept some money, I guess, but why not? Weird, right? This is a fucking, you're still not supposed to be here, if you know me, in any way, and think about how you could interact with me. Maybe the best bet is keep your distance, dog. Wouldn't blame you. Wouldn't blame you. Anyway. Well, shoot. This has been pretty long. What else did we do? Just went to I'm near the Cleveland area. There's the Cleveland Asian Festival. It was pretty packed. It was just too many people, honestly. But there were some really cool performances going on, a lot of cool outfits, some cool shops, good vibes. People were in good moods. People were talking. It was nice, had a little fun interaction with, dude, this is fun. Should I talk about this? This is like, how vague can you be? But like, this is who I want to be now. Like, I want to be the person that, could do this, even if it might be, it's going to be a little different. It's like exposure therapy. All right. So today I'm standing in line at this, little taste of the Philippines stand, right? With my brother and, his like person. And, again, you probably shouldn't be here, right? So I'm blocking the sign at some point. I'm getting real close to it. I'm just looking at it like, what do I want to order? Ooh, the chicken taquino. Ooh, that's got the pineapple marinade. Sounds good. That's what I got. Fucking delicious. Little taste of the Philippines. I don't know. If they come back, tell me where that shit is at, for like full time. I'll get some more. That stuff was great. Anyway, but I'm like looking at the stand, and I'm just like, thinking about how much it's going to be. The guy behind me is like, hey man, like, could you please just step off to the side a little bit? So we're trying to see the menu. And I was like, oh, dude, there's so many people here. Like, I'm not used to being out. I immediately started telling the truth to him. Like, I don't know how to not do it. It's just like, I don't know how to just be like, oh, my bad, bro. I mean, I kind of do, but I decided like, maybe I should make this more fun than that. Like just simple, because he had a good energy about him, right? He was a friendly guy, and he said it in a funny way. Like, he has a great intonation. He had a great voice. And I was like, you know what? Let me play with this guy like a little bit. I was like, oh, you know what, man? My bad. I fucking don't know. And then, like, I was just like, oh, wait, I can make it fun here. I can make this like, maybe a moment he'll actually think, oh man, people are out there who are like not terrible people, I was like, no, man, I'm playing defense on this sign, bro. Like, I don't want you to know what it is. Like, I want you to come up to the counter and be like, have 1 second to respond, and just see you fumble that ball. He's like, he started laughing. Like, he was like, holy shit, this guy's crazy. But no, he was with it though. He was really, oh yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. I mean, it was fun. Like, it was all love, man. He was a great guy. Him and his beautiful girlfriend, they were just hanging out. Anyway, so moving on, right? Anyway, so this is like new to me, and I'm like trying to, I'm trying to be the little social butterfly I want to be, and anyway, so the guy's like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm going with the chicken taquino. I mean, it's really good. He's like, yeah, man, bet. And it was normal, right? It felt normal, but you weren't there, So who knows? Maybe that's going to sound crazy. I'm open to the idea that sounds just totally insane, but I don't think it was. Anyway. But no, I mean, this was a fun little experience, right? I don't really have too much else to say. We went and checked out some stands. We waited on the lemonade. I picked up my nephew and held him and shaked him because he wasn't shutting up. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I did do that, but it was just, I don't know, because he's smaller and I can still do it. Give him fucking 2 years. That boy ain't going, he ain't going above surface level. Oh shit, he's gonna be heavy. But for now, he's still small, bro. He's small for his age, honestly. And again, like, you shouldn't be watching this. You shouldn't be watching this if you know me, I think. That's my official stance on it. Hopefully I don't get too big. But no matter how big I may or may not get, don't watch it. It's probably not for you. Is that fair to say? I'll be respectful, at all possible ends. But like, I'm gonna tell it like it is too. Like, don't be offended if I'm saying the truth about you. It's like, I don't know. I have to live in the real world. Well, my simulated version of the real world. Keep that clear too. Anyway, I don't know how much more I can even talk about. I'm starting to get like, I'm out of water. I want more. And I'm like, oh, maybe we should take a small pause. This might be good enough. So let's try and get back to what I guess the main idea of the video is. What's going on? What you been up to? And not saying I'm okay. I want to say I'm great, basically, but this is the expanded version. I'm great, but here's all the things that are going on in my mind. I'm loving it, and here's some of the meat. Basically, I'm loving it. But anyway, just a lot to do, really. So like, you adding in manual labor to appease somebody's ego or something, or just lack of planning or something. I don't know. Like, whatever I happen to talk about, I just want to, there's no hard feelings. I fucking definitely not. It's just how it is, right? It's just how it is. I'm a retired guy. People are going to treat you a certain type of way. They might not know why they do or don't do that. Again, I don't need any help. I don't want any. I want to be able to do exactly what I want to do. And, I'll see you when I see it. No big deal. That's just the fucking core of who I am. So anyway, well, now that I got all this to work with a little bit more, still a lot to do though. But this is going to make it so much easier too. Like, even if it's like always a loss, it saves me money. So I'm going to do it. It's like my little punishment, for fucking beating the tax man just a little bit better than, the average, right? Just fucking, you gotta post a video. You gotta fucking embarrass yourself. Exposure therapy. Like, other than that, I'm pretty good. But yeah, definitely, it would be helpful to have more. More is always better. That way, it's easier to not pinch and save as much when the downturns come. I can live pretty normally, even in a downturn, but if it gets real bad, I definitely have to, might need to sell something even. I have assets to sell, right? That's why I might have to ask those questions, because I can definitely downsize and pitch and, do some easy way to do some, harvesting strategies to fucking swoop money in to another year, to another tax bracket. And I'm going to be doing it. It's just how the fuck it is what it is. Like, it's what I know is going to make it work, because it's completely legal to do it, to sell an asset, pitch it into the next thing, the next bucket. How are you going to get into that 401k early? How are you going to Roth convert? How are you going to do all this stuff? I know how to do it. I'm not the money guys or whatever, and I don't want to be either. I'm interested to talk about it if anybody would want to know information, but there's plenty of it out there. Here's what I've also been thinking about. I always think about Bo Burnham, because he's done it all. He's seen it all. He's met God. He is God. No, he might be the devil. But he's got a great song called "How the World Works," and is special inside. One of the better ones. No, they're also good. What am I saying? But like, this song is crazy. If you go and watch inside and get to "How the World Works," you're in for a real education lesson and a demonstration, right? It's the fucking most epic little song. It's so fun. It starts so innocent, and then it becomes just the ultra, horrible corporate evil, world power corruption shit ever. And then he ends with like, and here's how they, threaten your family, right? Threaten your very existence. And they get the fucking line. The fact that we, elect a certain couple of electives who are all making the same decisions anyway, like, basically, because everybody's bought. Because all you need to do, instead of buying, 300 million Americans, you just got to buy 50. And you're the meanest person that ever lived, and you do it. It's like, that's what the world is, for real. And it's fucked up. And it's like, but that's not what's happening to you. And that's what a big thing that I think about personally is, Bo Burnham has another song Okay, 1985. He didn't release this on this particular thing, but he's got the other thing. You know, he's talking about us. He's just reflecting on his father, and who knows how accurate or inaccurate it is. But there's a funny ass line in there. He reads the news and doesn't let that shit affect him. He's really happy. He's thrilled to be alive. His name is any white guy in 1985. Right? This is what he's talking about. Is there was a time when we didn't have all of this scaling to it, and you could be happier so much easier. Like I said, like right now, I feel like I really had to work my ass off to get to this level of financial, success. But if I was doing this at some other time, it would have been, I don't know, even easier, I guess. Right? You could have had it all, fucking so easily. And I think that that's true. And now it's not that way. It's so easy to be broke now. It's so hard to have children now. It's so expensive to live now. Like if unless you're a super weird bum guy like me, like it's fucking expensive to do almost anything. Um, and so how do you accept having so little that you can do so little? Anyway, most people aren't asking themselves that question, but like but to be normal, to have a child and get to that 2.2 replacement rate or whatever that we're trying to get to, and we fucking cannot do it, we won't do it. Why don't we do it? Because of all these bills and how much we don't know how to fucking talk to each other and all this other stuff, right? The world has just become different and I think worse. But I don't know what to do about it and myself. Like this is the only thing I can do. I'm socially inept, so I'm gonna try and just forcibly talk about it and hope that it will change. That's it. I don't even know what else to say. But I also want to talk about all these things that I've been thinking about for all these years because I think that they're interesting. And I'd like to have a voice and maybe be the right voice in the conversation sometimes. Like some people just I feel like don't get it, and it's like maybe I should actually talk about it for once. But I don't really want. I also don't want the fucking stress of it. Like if it gets really annoying to educate somebody, and do the research and tell them, basically why they're fucking retarded. But and that's not fun. Like I don't want right after this, and just how the world works thing is. That's why I'm still on this. There's this moment where he's like, don't fucking burden me with the responsibility of educating you. It's incredibly exhausting, and it is. Like if somebody doesn't like get it, and you have to explain whatever the topic of conversation is. Now, although I seem to have some amount of stamina if it's explaining things that I like to talk about, like that's literally what I want to do. If I think I understand something, or maybe I don't, but I want to explore the idea verbally, even, or in a video, maybe a video essay. Maybe I want to make a video essay about Expedition 33, like a classic YouTuber video, because those are the ones I kind of want to get to making at some point. Those would be fun. I just have to figure out how to edit, and I don't like it. Oh, gross. My writing scripts and editing. Don't want to do it. But anyway, yeah, that shit hits so real. That song's so funny for so many reasons. I can't even imagine writing something like that. How did he do it? That's what his mind is capable of. Maybe mine isn't. But I'm also realizing, like, unless you try your hand at some of these things, like I've got this fucking thing here. My socks are for some reason on it. But I haven't really been playing it much. You know what I mean? Like I barely know how to fucking work it at all. My laptop's not even out here. It's still in my bag because I was going to take it to my brother's house. But like this is something I should be learning to do too, right? This is something I'm passionate about. I just don't have any technical know-how, but I'd rather figure it out and try to post stuff about it than go back to some meaningless, soulless job, for sure. And people are offering me meaningless, soulless jobs, even though maybe this will be a little bit more fun, of course, albeit, and that's why I'm happy to do it with you, to, bond with you a little bit. That means something to me, right? And I can do it for that purpose alone. But otherwise, like, I think that there's other things I want to explore about myself, my creativity, and, what more do I want to put out there other than the things I put out there? Do I want to even maybe put them on different channels? Like maybe it's a little weird for some people to see it all in one place, but it's all coming from one place. So we're going to put it in one place until further notice. Maybe I should put a watermark in there. Maybe somebody would steal this. Maybe it's so good. It's so good. But I don't know. Dude, what else should we talk about? Okay, here's what I'm going to do whenever people come back. I'm gonna force my family to do something awkward and embarrassing, like they force us to do. I'm gonna get revenge on them. I'm gonna make I have to actually make sure which one it is. I think it's called Repeat Stuff. I'm gonna make them watch Repeat Stuff by Bo Burnham because we were doing some like jam sessions. We were having fun last night. Oh, I gotta watch this video from my brother. I might pause and hear this. Now I have more to talk about, or we're gonna call it because we're at 55 minutes. And we'll make a part 2. Ohio update part 2. I don't know, whatever the fuck we'll call it, right? Damn, bro, what the fuck? Oh shit, I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about making music, ironically, because that's what my brother does. I mean, when he came over here, he was playing on it. I was like, thank God, at least I have the fucking tool. He was actually showing me how to use it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. But I haven't done it yet because I've been playing Claire Expedition 33 and talking to my aunt, and her and my mom, about life. Dude, she was telling me stories about like the most fucked up thing my dad ever did. How her mom's trauma has impacted her. Again, you shouldn't be watching. Like all of like the life shit that like only really should be within one. Like generally don't share somebody's business basically, but like just like the no shit life stuff and working through it because we're the ones that got to support each other. Family comes first, right? And so there's a level of respect I want to have, and I feel like maybe that message has come across at this point, but like I just want to talk about what I am going through because I find that I don't know how to not be authentic when it comes to just, if you fucking catch me off guard, why are you blocking that sign, bro? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, let me get out the way, sir. My bad. I don't know. I just want you to keep him guessing. Whatever fucking state I flow through. Like I'm just, I don't know, man. That's me. That's what I am. And I don't know. I feel that again. I feel like for some reason I must hit record and talk about whatever the fuck I'm going to talk about. I didn't post a couple videos already. I've recorded one video that I was like, I can't post it. It's about Euphoria. It's too intense, But I had fun recording it, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should post that one, But I have to review the footage because I was on my juju then, bro, and it's just like, holy shit, I gotta make sure I'm within the fucking limits here, within the bumper lanes. But what's the worst case scenario is I just like adjust to it. Again, it's not like my life is really not all that glamorous or dangerous or anything like that. I just happen to use a lot of. I'm a cusser. I cuss, baby, a lot. Like it's not really like for any particular reason. Although, dude, I want to tell this story. Might as well, dude. This is a whatever video. I don't know. When I was a kid, right? I grew up in. Well, let me go through my whole childhood timeline. This will be fun because we were just reflecting on a life. I came here for a funeral. One of the opening words that I don't know who he is, but the speaker for the funeral that they hired. He gave a great speech about that people don't get lost until you stop talking about them. They're always with you as long as you keep talking about them. John Mayer has a great song called "You're Gonna Live Forever in Me" that covers this, right? It's remembering people, but also the impact they have on you. The way you are different because of other people. They live forever in your own existence because you can't escape the impact they had on you. Good or bad, like it's kind of true of everybody, but hopefully sometimes it's mostly with the good that you remember. But anyway, like we're talking about all that. We're sharing that song. We're sharing "In the Blood" by John Mayer, another fantastic song. Talking about some of her Jackson Browne song, "In the Shape of a Heart," and that made me tell him like, dude, these are some amazing songs. Like mostly I think they made better, deeper, meaningful songs back in the day. This is why they were happier in 1985 because they were still had souls or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Honestly, I don't know what's in the water. I'm scared. But anyway. I don't know if it matters if I go over an hour. I'm thinking, maybe an hour is everything's just going to get cut off at this point, and all the gold that's about to follow will get lost in the creek. But let's just continue talking anyway. Anyway, I was like, I should show them Repeat Stuff, so I'll show them that later. But to get back to the fucking, childhood timeline thing, I grew up in Ohio. We lived here until I was 10. The only part of my life where I think I remember being sentient was probably from like 7 onwards. I don't really have too many memories at this point of like, the only thing I really remember at my first childhood home is I would take showers. and I'd sit in front of the vents afterwards because they would blow warm air on me. I remember, okay, that was like the only memory I really have. I remember where my room was. I remember where mom's room was. I think my sister bullied me in the bathroom one time, and then I moved to another house. Like, I don't know, like, but we were here for more than that. Now, there's more I remember, but I often would like stay in the basement with my babysitter's family overnight. A wonderful family, absolutely adore them. Apparently my mother ran into them like a day or two ago. I'm just like such a antisocial person. Like, again, maybe you shouldn't be watching if you know me. Like, but I love these people. These people are amazing. You know, they were. I stayed in their basement. I took some sort. I remember, like, dude, there's some horrible shit. I remember taking like a really big shit in their bathroom one time. I said, like, a young kid, you know, maybe like an 8 or 9 year old kid. And like I didn't know what to do about it. And like the mom chewed me out, bro. She was like, "You can't be doing that in my fucking house, little boy. You gotta get in there and clean that up." I was like, "Oh shit." I don't know, like, dude, it's embarrassing, right? It's so gross. But like that's what happened, right? Kid does a nasty thing and gets firmly corrected the good way, you know? Made you know, contributed to my successful um living, I think. You know, you know, being able to just course correct a kid. And this is a babysitter's family, dude. She's a hard worker. I've heard that she's been doing this for years. I heard that her daughter now kind of does it too. Like, essentially, I got to go catch up with these people, right? It's fun, you know. But I don't want to. I don't want to share anybody's business really either, right? But I don't know. It's like kind of my business to do that. So that's why it's weird. That's why these disclaimers keep like fucking oozing out of my body. I'm like, oh god, I've had to say some things to explain who I am. I have to explain myself, right? Anyway, so anyway, I'm with that family quite a lot, but this is only maybe like maybe 1 to 2 year period where my mom gets her nursing degree license. I don't know how long it took her actually, but this is the only part I remember. So I'm not sure how many years it extended, honestly. I wish I had a better memory. That's one thing I lament is I feel like I have a really bad memory because I never talk about things. So I don't you use it if you don't use it, you lose it, right? You don't talk about your memories, you don't have any. You don't make any memories, you don't have any. That's a weird feeling. So I'm trying to stop that trend anyway. So here's what, you know, case in point here. We're gonna remember this one. So anyway, we go to Germany next. We lived 2 years from 6th and 7th grade in Germany. Come back and live with my father for 1 year when my mother goes and fights the Nazis in Iraq or something. No, literally, she went to Iraq, bro, as a nurse. I don't know how she did it. It was like cool, but it was stressful. She was going for the bread, homie. I learned from my mama. The bread come first, y'all. Dollar bill. What am I doing? But you know what I mean? Like, she went there to get money because she, you know, she had to like kind of jumpstart her financial plan. You know, I have another brother. You know, it's weird to be this brother who just happens to be in this situation, right? But like, can I not reflect on what's going on around me and not be offensive? But like my mother was the same age as my other brother. When my mom got her nursing license, my other brothers basically kind of reset financially, I guess we'll call it, right? You might as well call it bankruptcy, I suppose, right? It's not that, but this is a state of existence, right? I don't mean to offend, but like, you know, I don't know. I just want to reflect on it, right? So if you're again, maybe you shouldn't be here at this point. Eventually these disclaimers are not going to be here. You know, this is like the first time I'm really getting into this. You know, I'm just going to say my mind because nobody really wants to fucking hear all that shit. I'm just going to say it. Don't show up. Seriously. Anyway, so what else? It's just kind of weird to reflect on. Like, what my one brother is kind of building his business and he's kind of figuring it out, right? He's just figuring out the taxes, the W-2s, the workman's comp. He's got it pretty much figured out, but it's like tough, right? You know, it's a lot of work to build a business and to do this, right? It's just hard. So he's in the middle of building it. When I reflect back on my mom, she was basically in the same position, hard reset, you know, divorced from dad, nasty divorce, you know, just trying to make it work, 2-family home, 2 Christmases, all this shit. You know, that's what my early childhood is like, I guess, right? But you know, but in the meantime, though, she's on that hustle grind, dude. She's getting that nursing degree. She's watching Dave Ramsey. She's showing me Dave Ramsey the whole time. You know, like, this is the stuff that sinks in, and this is why socialization is extremely important. You know, what is your how are you being socialized to think about things? Are you getting it from your parents, or are you getting it disinformation from Xware, some other place, is AI telling you lies? Are you finding out lies anyway? Are you influenced by liars? These things are going to impact your life. You got to ask yourself these questions. When you're reading the news or something, what is the truth? I think it's important to know it, and be upfront about it, and accept it. But anyway, so shit, what was I talking about? Anyway, so yeah, my mom she gets her nursing degree. That's why I'm staying over there at night, because she's going to the school at night. Eventually she gets the job. She accepted. Anyway, so we go to Germany. She goes to Iraq, and then we go back to Germany somehow again, because she likes that system. Because being a school nurse was dope for her. It was weird for me. She was just at the school, bro. That's my mom. My mom's the nurse. Yes, she's so sweet. Yes, I know. She's the best. Like, I don't know. Like, that's my experience, right? But I love her, like, obviously. But, like, but she was in the school with me. And I was like, oh, great. Fucking fantastic. Military base, doing ROTC, whatever. What am I talking about anymore? I don't even know. I feel like I should stop, bro, but I just want to keep going. Let's get to why do I cuss so fucking much? That was the original idea, right? Why? Well, like, what? This is something that my mother found to be very taboo, right? My mother was, pretty Christian, Protestant, was raised Catholic, converted to Protestant. I guess it's a little dramatic. Fuck if I know. To me at this point, didn't matter. I guess I would say I was, Protestant, whatever she was, until maybe like 13, until I got back under Dad's roof, right? But no, one of the most influential things ever was this family that I spent a lot of time with in 6th and 7th grade. This was a great time in my life. This was fun. We were playing like Little League baseball or whatever. 6th and 7th grade baseball. There were like dances in the school, and I actually had a best friend. This was the only best. This is like this. We'll call him my first best friend. Well, there was also, technically, I guess this would be first, other than like weird pre, 5th grade relationships, right? But we were starting to become sentient, right? At this point, 6th and 7th grade, we're starting to really think about things and be smart, and kind of develop a personality and start to think about girls, right? All this shit. This family was Satan. My mom was God. This family was Satan, bro. But she didn't know, I think, just how bad it was. Because I've never told her. And I'm about to say it out loud a little bit. And that's just funny to me. But these guys were fucking just, they would say anything, bro. They were horrible. They were so funny. Their mother was a German national, father American soldier, married her, have two, 3 boys, 1 girl. I think. I don't remember the girl very much. I was afraid of her or some shit. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember that there was a younger brother, the brother who was my age, and then the older brother, all just a great little family, right? A fucking wonderful. This is what every man wants. I think what this father was doing is what every man wants. He was teaching his children how to live a smart, funny, happy life. There's no bullshit. Here's how it is. Like, he's just having fun with his children. And cussing is a big part of that, because it's so taboo for everybody. But these kids become social because of it. Their ability to be free in their thought and speech, simply put. But it was like, if fuck is on the table and shit is on the table, then more interesting ideas are on the table too. And you can really become a regular person much faster in a family like this. Some people are sheltered so much that they don't get to be regular for fucking ever. And maybe they never even figure it out. Like, they show up and they're just fucking weird. Like, what's wrong with this kid? Like, his parents raised him to be a Christian. Like, I don't know. Like, whatever the fuck happened to him, right? It's just funny, right? The way that you turn out. It's mostly how you get influenced. And anyway, this family influenced me to be a fucking little dirtbag, We were watching Scrubs. We were watching Superbad. We were watching Grandma's Boy. We were fucking having fun, bro. This fucking was a great time. And it was all hidden from my mom, right? Like, dude, these guys corrupted the shit out of me. But, obviously we all love the same shit. We love sports. We love playing fucking Metal Gear Solid. We fucking love playing Monster Hunter, bro. Like, it was just a fun time. Like, they were fucking nerds. They were fucking the bros. I love this whole family, even though the big brother kind of bullied him and I kind of bullied the little brother, and me and Sean fucking was against the world, bro. Hey, well, shit. Anyway, but it was so fun back then, and I even visited one time. I think in either eighth grade, or when I came back for a summer between ninth and 10th grade. And it was right back to it, bro. We were just instantly fun, instantly fun. I think these days it would probably be really hard because I know he's now got. I think I like sometimes I Facebook stalk bro, but only like probably 2 times in 10 years. But like I know he's got a kid now, basically, right? And probably pretty happy because again, I think he's just got that mindset, bro. His father just set him up the right way, Just here's how you live, here's how you make it fun, here's how you, I don't know, deal with women, here's how you do all this stuff. And not to say my mother, I'm also a I basically lived with a single mother, right? We kind of haven't talked about this. So my father's like, I don't know him as well as most kids ought to, I guess, right? But I love him, and we have some good memories. But this other uncle, we just kind of lost one. Sons are feeling that loss. I've already felt that loss. I lost his father. I didn't know as well as maybe I ought to have, but I knew him pretty well when I was 18, and I really shut down. I don't know. I think I really did shut down in some way. This is a big contributor to that. Just like knowing that he would never see me become the man I was supposed to be or whatever. And now feeling like maybe I fell short of that, but I don't know, whatever, right? But it's a hard thing to lose a parent, right? So even though I've kind of made my peace with everything, really, life and death and everything, like I've made peace with all of it, really, at this point. But and it feels good to be healed like that. Like it's a weird thing to say out loud, I think. Like I don't really care what happens from now until I'm dead. I feel like I'm basically good. I've reached like a state of zen and happiness that is overwhelmingly peaceful, and it's nice. But I don't know how to give that to you. I don't know how to make you do that. Maybe go watch Bashar. Bashar can explain it better, maybe. My thing is like whatever's going to make my life amazing is the thing I'm going to try and do. Even if, of course, I'm going to do it in a smart, possible, logical, ethical way, But like, if I think that making stupid YouTube videos that are horrible and lengthy and rambling, then I'm going to do that, and that will be so much better than going back to something with no soul. Not that it's even that big deal, Like this is where it gets weird. Like, I do the job. Like you have to do what you have to do. If you're still working at it, you're still building to what you need. If you haven't done the math, you don't want to do the math, you just want more and more and more. Like I don't fault you for that way of thinking. I don't care. I don't know. Like I'm just going to be me. This is how I think about it. Like if I can avoid it by doing this, I will. And if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to work. That's all there is that needs to be said. You don't need to offer me jobs. I don't really want them. I want to do this instead. That's kind of one of the things that I want to talk about. I think I need to take a break to refill the water at a minimum. I'll hit pause because I just discovered that you can hit pause on these recordings. You don't have to hit stop and then be like, do I want to edit them and re-encode them and all this basic stuff. I'm going to hit pause. And I'll come back and think, did I answer the objective of updating you on my life? And I probably haven't, frankly. So let's hit pause now, shall we? All right, well, I guess we're back. Although we got to wrap this shit up. This is not the intermission. That'd be way too much more talking to do. So what is left? What else are we trying to do with our time? Definitely get healthier. I've been looking into making a purchase of like a bike. That way I can just I could spend 4 hours a day on that. That would be a good way to make sure I'm getting my body in the right place, kind of regulating my sleep and movement schedule. But I might be completely dysregulated until I get back here full time or more regularly. Like anytime I don't know, I'm always going to be kind of moving between these two cycles. But I think if I have a bike and I can put it on the back of the car, no matter where I go, I'll just have that way to kind of disconnect for a little bit, which is what I need when I'm transitioning between things. I haven't really put in the work on that yet because there's a lot to do, I guess. And the idea of spending the money to maybe not use it as much as I should also bothers me. This is a financial instinct I have, right? I can also just walk, and I've been doing that too. So while I would like it, it's just kind of one of those things where you have to ask, is this the most worth thing? There are plenty of things I definitely said yes to a lot lately, which is kind of new for me. But when it gets to like, should you go to Chipotle tonight? The answer is always no. The answer is always no. Why the fuck would you do that? when I got stuff in the fridge right there. This is one of those things I do. I want to make it clear. But like, these are some of the ways that I want to spend my time more. But I also want to spend more time with people too. So, I'm always trying to spend 4 hours talking to mom. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk about everything we talked about, but I had a wonderful conversation with my mom and my aunt. My aunt talked about like a near death experience and how it changed her complete attitude and how she talks to people. How she's able to let things wash over her and not let them affect her. All this stuff that you should want to do. Why did I put those on? I think I was watching a video just for a few minutes while I was drinking, like trying to get my voice ready again to go for more. But anyway, just trying to get to know the people that are actually in my life, and maybe figure out how I could get access to new people to put them in my life. But one of the things that we talked about, which is this is not going to be a long moment of reflection, I think, but like I've been single, I'm perpetually single, right? And it doesn't really come up anymore. Like, there's no real point in it coming up anymore. Like, when are you going to do something about that? The answer is like, I don't fucking care. But because we were talking about my father and basically an unhappy marriage situation, we were finally going to be kind of being blunt about some of it, right? What's it like to want to divorce your husband because he's such an asshole, even though he's my father, right? Let's have that conversation for once, right? It was interesting, right? I had, I feel all love from it. It's all good. It's just people were people, right? They were trying to survive. We talked about the idea about how no matter where you are at in your timeline of life, you have to figure out how to answer the question, how am I going to feed myself every day? And maybe feed the ones around me every day. And it's a really interesting question to always answer. Most of the days it's always just solved by the simple money thing. But there was a time when, you were a woman who was a widow in Ireland and 100 years ago, 200 years ago. And it's like, how do they do it? Well, most of the time they got married. There was a time where it kind of transitioned away from that. It's a weird time and it's doing weird things to everybody. This would be honest, right? It's like, this is a genuine, people used to only ask and answer this question a certain way, and it did certain things to their relationships, and it made certain things bad, and it made certain things good, but it was life, and it always is evolving, and we're never sure what the end state of the human, experience is going to be. I think it's going to be what it always was. It's weird, right? Like, it always is what it is, but people just need to feed themselves every day, and they're going to do whatever they can do to do that, and hopefully it's going to get a lot easier. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, you just don't really know what the end state is really going to be. There's all this theory about, like, what could happen if, I don't know, let's say AI was to make it, easy to feed everybody, because everybody's able to kind of go back to work. So we're able to kind of make the place green. Who knows, right? Think of a utopia version of implementing AI to somehow save the planet. There's an amazing game I like called Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. It's a wonderful game in theory. This is not a very popular game, honestly. It's pretty popular, but it's not like people don't renown it for its story. It's kind of a beautiful game, got fun gameplay in my opinion. But like, the core story is that like eventually humanity is going to doom itself through basically it's AI, but also it's like warfare. It's like a beautiful combination of AI and warfare. Like the two worst evils of man now coming together. To be unstoppable, and humanity's wiped out, and they figure out how to recreate the world, and then basically the same type, people become, whatever, Indians again, basically, but sometimes they find this, technology, and whatever. It's just an interesting game. I think it's a very interesting game, and for some reason, some people are a little more critical of it than like my favorite games, like Bloodborne or something, Elden Ring. Like, these go without saying that they're amazing, even if the lore is like incomprehensible, alien shit, you know what I mean? But anyway, I really like this game though. I love the concept of this game. This apocalyptic scenario. Love Last of Us. These scenarios can be really fun and interesting to see how does humanity react when they still need to answer the question of how do you feed yourself every day, and whatever it is, you're gonna find an interesting answer, right? People have to answer this question or they die. So anyway, just something to think about. Moving on to topic. What were we talking about? How the fuck did I start talking about this game? Anyway, let's just get off topic. Sorry, 1 second. What the fuck was I saying? All right, I'm back. We took another little pause. I don't remember why or when, but I'm basically at the point where I think I need to sum this video up and just get it over with. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to approach the next, forever. I want to figure out how to do it the way that I want to do it. I've been recognizing that every single day I'm going to wake up in the same body, in the same situation. And if I don't manipulate that situation into something that I want, I'm going to be unhappy. So I'm just going to make my life how I want it to be. It's going to take a little time. It's going to take a little effort. That's how it goes. That's how it should go. Otherwise, it doesn't feel satisfying anyway. So pardon me for what I'm going to be doing, but I have no choice but to do it, I think. What's next? After this, I'll probably play a game or something, or watch a show. I don't know what, but that's what I do every single time I turn one of these off. I'm just a bum guy. Nothing too inspirational is going on in my life. But I just want to share my ideas. This is how I do it, and this has been way too long. I feel so bad that it's even been this long. I'm just going to end it pretty much. And if I have something I want to make a more concise video about, we'll do that next time. This just was haven't done anything for a little while, and I wanted to do something at the expense of having absolutely no idea how I should structure it, but that's okay. Anyway, that's it for now. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.